Welcome to another episode of 2 Weeks at a Time, the show where I go through my life as a filmmaker over the past 2 weeks and the lessons that I've learned. So what I've been up to in these past 2 weeks, I've done a property shoot, I've done another video for my friends over at Corkers, I shot a video in a science lab, I've shot this time lapse, and a shit load of editing basically, which brings me on to my first tip, which is manage expectations. It's something over the past 2 weeks I've not done very well. I've had quite a few inquiries and I've just said, yeah, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. And it's so tempting to take on more work when you're trying to grow your business. But what I think I need to do is just be realistic on how long things are going to take me. And the general rule of thumb I've adopted is double it. So if you think it's going to take a week, double it. If you think it's going to take a day to edit, double it. And that's kind of served me quite well. So my first tip is that manage expectations. Say it's going to take 2 weeks, and if you get it done in a week and a half, it's a bonus and it's going to make you look great. But just pretty much just double the time you expect it's going to take. Before I move on to tip 2, I promised I would talk about the new lens that I bought, which is this, the 100mm macro EF f2.8. So I bought this primarily because of the science shoot that I said I really wanted to get some detailed shots. They basically build robots for science. It's amazing. And so it's my first prime L lens that I've ever bought. And I was surprised. I thought I'd use the macro capabilities a lot more, but in reality, I just use it as a 100mm telephoto. And especially on the GH5, which is pretty much, yeah, it's like 167, I believe. I'll have to check on that. But it just made for a really nice telephoto lens, really sharp, really great. So maybe I'll do a review on this lens if you're interested. Let me know in the comments down below. So the second tip is to white balance your shots. I'm afraid to say that I neglected this for so long. And it wasn't until the back end of last year when I met up with Philip Bloom. I paid for his time to basically coach me for a day. We went down to Richmond Lock and we shot and kind of identified some problems with my shooting that would potentially help. And the thing that he'd identified, which was kind of like the smallest, probably throwaway tip, but it's actually improved my footage so much, and probably the biggest takeaway from that shoot was to white balance my shots. So I use this little card here, and basically what that does is creates a reference point for the GH5, for the 5D, pretty much just snap a picture and then it white balances the scene for you. I was so surprised how much difference this makes in the final shot. Previously I thought, I'd just get the auto white balance picker in Premiere Pro, but the amount it shifts the image, it can really degrade it, especially if you're shooting in 8-bit. So now I never go anywhere without this. It's the first thing I do on set. And if I'm changing scene or changing room, I always white balance. And trust me, try it, it will make your footage look so much better. Forget about RAW, forget about Vlog. I just shoot in natural now and I just use the white balance card and my footage looks so much better than it did before. I'm sure I'll progress into using things like Vlog, but currently with quick turnarounds, I shoot in natural, white balance it, and I'm pretty much good to go. So there we go, just a quick one. The 2 tips that I've learned over the past 2 weeks. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Tune in the next 2 weeks to find out what I've been doing 2 weeks at a time, and I'll see you next week on another video.